Welcome back. So let's have a look at the code we actually built. Of course, node modules are always there. This is for testing. There's some testing information in here. But I think the most important place for us to start is inside the source, since that's where we will be working. The rest is kind of just a one-time setup that you can start digging into as you feel the need, right? So let's have a look at the outer layer here in the source, which is app.js, config.js, and index.js. And let's start with the index.js. It pretty much just says we're going to use Babel to convert this information. Now Babel is for us to go from ECMAScript 6 into actually JavaScript. So it's converter, right? It's converting into plain JavaScript that we can use. And then it says pretty much just then export or use the app, which is then app.js. So that's just a way for us to reroute into app.js. So I'm going in here to app.js. And that's actually where all the things are being launched from, right? So this is kind of our server.js before, or it's just a file that will start all of this. And then all of these things will happen. We have a place to work with HTTP, which is our requests. We have a place to import all the configurations, and they are in here actually, the config.js file. So the config.js sets up some Lodash, and it uses that to actually create, depending on if it's production, development environment, it'll set up different dependencies. For instance, inside it'll also make a test Mongo database if we want to use that. It'll make a development Mongo database if we want to use that. And it'll also make a production Mongo database when we get to a live environment. So that's kind of what the config file. So here you can go in, like we just changed the IP address. There are other configurations you can do in here. So that was the first thing we're doing. Then we are actually getting some Mongoose information and some Express information from these two files in the services here. So it's pretty much just setting up Express like we did before with some different, like the body parser that we also used earlier. Setting up Mongoose with the different information. We just split it into different files to make it easier to use. Or this guy split it into files for us. So we don't even have to concern ourselves about it. Then we're importing the API. And the API is for the routes. So we're setting up Express here with the APIs. So if we go back to the Express index file here, you'll see that it actually uses the routes here that it pulls out from the actual creation of the Express setup. So that's how we set up the routes. Going back to our app.js, now we have the routes available, and then we create a server, we connect the Mongo, and then we start listening on the server. So that was a pretty good start. Now we have the outer layer. I know this is a kind of a boring video, but now you know where some of the configuration is set up for you. See you in the next lesson where we'll start diving into the fun.